Kaja Israel, Kaba Egypt, Kaja Ethiopia, Kaja Sudan, Waja Shong. Kaja Ikushima, you know, when he me kona me Waja Shong. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know, Waja Shong. Waja Waja Shong. Manchester, you know, Sumanguru, you know, walk where you get, what you're shown. What's that to do, you know, Wamasa, you know, Yasantua, you know, what you're shown. Kaja Israel, Kaba Egypt, Kaja Ethiopia, Kaja Sudan, what you're shown. Aquakaba, Chimo, one year, Afo, Karacha, Akachmo, 1 year, and the young fan. Aquakaba, Chimo, 1 year, Afo, Karacha. I got you 1 year, I'm a young fan. I'm a Caminian Matu, I'm a Cat on young Motu, I'm a Cat on young Watumo. I'm a Caminian Matu, I'm a Cat on young Motu, I'm a Cat on young Watumo. I'm a Cat on young Watumo, we not a catch him over Walker or Banya. Can you change inside your mama? Can you change inside your mama? Can you change inside my mama? Can you change inside your mama? You mama me.
Hello? Oh, my son is Canada dada. And then he left go menu. My son this is a setup that you was Spain. Oh yes. Spain most any secret free ha. Ghana. Yet we love you. It's 11 and as a man of a baby family. Oh, that be my son. Would you check your phone? Why? It's very easy now to send money from anywhere in Europe to Ghana. I'm in Spain right now, and I just send money to my mom. And on Tiasia, also don't send it, don't take e-levy. No, on tap send, there's no e-levy charge. It's just free when you send. Those in the US, those in London, those in Canada, plenty places in Europe. You can send your money through tap send to Ghana, and please, it's free of charge. There's no deduction in any e-levy or any charge at all. So what are you waiting for? Send the money to those family people. Me must send it. Let's go and take a clan talk. Reggae man for a pack. It's tap send.
Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced family law firm specializing in immigration and naturalization, as well as dispute resolution. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner with over 30 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stand for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity and inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance across all areas of UK and Ghana law. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Led by experienced senior partner Bernard Owusu, the team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with your immigration, naturalization, dispute resolution, family law, new wills and probate, Ghana law and practice needs. We are dedicated to providing solutions to our clients' problems. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Main office line 0208 493 7340 or our emergency line 07712 761 884.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Ghanaian Community Awareness Forum. My name is Nana Kwesi Kwesin the First, Achumahene of Ahanta Traditional Area and the Diaspora, and also the Chairman of Ghana Union, UK and Ireland. Happy New Year to our audience, our participants who have been with us over the past couple of years since this was set up, and we've reached your homes at the comfort of your homes from far and near. And tonight is one of the many topics that we are going to go through. As you will know, there are dynamics in the United Kingdom that keep changing. And therefore, whenever we come to a point where we believe that we have information to bring to your homes and to your families and to the people that we call Ghanaians, it is in the right place that we do it with people that we know. They are well vested, tested, and are able to speak to the truth about the issues and give you ideas. And of course, let you take the decisions for yourself. Tonight is one of those many topics which we are going to address. For those of us who join us, we have BWF Solicitors, the senior partner, Mr. Bernard Owusu. He's a man that does not need so much to say about because his work sells for itself. He's been in the community for 30 years, practicing law, supporting Ghanaians across all sectors, specialized in immigration, family, and conflict resolution, and all other areas, with a team that has nothing other than professionalism to their name. Tonight, we are privileged to have with us lawyer Bernard Owusu, senior partner of BWF Solicitors, to take us through. The last time we went through some of the pitfalls around the issues of the day within the immigration. Some of you who follow the headline news in the United Kingdom will hear that the Secretary of State for Home Office has come and said other things, which has thrown so much into the public disarray. So it is interesting that we have somebody who is doing the law and practice the law and can digest the detail that he knows of to help us help our families, both in Ghana, for those of you in Ghana who are taking advantage of everything else to come to UK, and of course, for those who are also already there and wanting to know how do I proceed. This is your time to listen. So without further ado, may I bring to the screen our esteemed lawyer, Bernard Owusu. Chairman, good evening. As always, Happy New Year. It's nice to see you. It's always a pleasure to have you because your experience is such that whenever I have you on the screen and with us, my heart is at peace because I know we are going to give the Ghanaians no more or less than the right information. And so I welcome you tonight to Ghanaian Community Awareness Forum.
Thank you very much, Nana.
Please, you take over. I've done my bit. You are now on the show.
Thank you. And may I say Happy New Year to all of you. We're grateful to the Ghanaian community and the Ghana Union, especially Chairman Nana Kwesi Kwesin and his able executives for always, educating the community on all aspects of our lives in the UK. I mean, most of us are migrants in the UK, and clearly the issue of immigration is really live in our lives. And therefore, when it's our turn to speak to the community, we don't take it lightly. We take it as seriously as it can be. I like to use slides as prompts. I will share some slides later, but I just want to do some openings. First of all, as you all have noticed, election is coming, both in UK and in Ghana, and in the UK and in US, immigration is a hot cake for election. So the two major parties like to outdo each other. Unfortunately, the victims in all this are us, our children, our families, parents and grandparents, our grandchildren, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends. And therefore, it's always important that at such times, not only do we identify the problems, but but we also identify and show you, or at least signpost how you can solve the problem or ameliorate it. So I will share my slide and we will start promptly. So the topic that I am going to treat today is the how to navigate the new immigration changes and avoid disappointment. As you all have heard from last year, July, we woke up one morning on the 17th of July and the law had changed for students who couldn't apply to stay here on a work permit basis. They were not allowed to switch, and also certain things happened. And then suddenly, the conservatives thought, okay, well, you know what? Let's throw a spanner in the wheels of families who are already in the UK, who wish to bring their partners and their children. Let's make it a bit more difficult for them to come. Let's increase the threshold for the maintenance requirement from 18,600 to 39,000, with no thought at all to the fact that most people in our community, the average income in our community is about 18,000. It's not a national average. So when you take the national average, you add all the multimillionaires and those who are earning six-figure sums. But in our community, not many people are multimillionaires and not many people earn six-figure sums. So our average is not the same as the national average. And therefore, in my experience, between 35 to 45% of family members are not able to bring their spouses and children because they are not able to meet the maintenance requirement. There are other things that obviously also makes this very difficult. And for us, it's important that we bring this to the fore. So the first thing that I want to highlight is exactly what the UK government announced. It didn't only start in January, it started in July last year, and I've broached that subject, basically, pricing out or taking out students who, when they applied for their student visa, knew that they were coming to UK and they could switch during the time of their courses to work. So that was taken away. And therefore, the changes that have been announced, some are very profound, some are divisive, clearly will divide children from their parents, parents from their children, and unfortunately, spouses and partners from each other. So today, as I said, we don't only identify problems, but we solve it or we signpost how to solve it. The next thing I want to talk about is the 5 changes that were announced. As you can see, my main focus is on the social care, the students, the minimum requirement, and also the minimum requirement for the income, or what we call the MIR, and also the bits and pieces that I'll refer to later. So what's happened to the social care? All of you will be aware that 2 years ago, the government put social care, health and social care, adult social care, in the shortage occupation. Now, health and social care has always been a skilled area. So if you had a sponsorship license, you could bring people. It's just that you have to show the resident labor test. But since almost 2 years now, the government has put it in the shortage occupation. And what it means is that one, the income requirement or the going rate is lower than the usual one. The usual one will be about 38,700, which is what they've said is going to be for other skilled visas. But for shortage occupation, they have a going rate. But the last discussions we had, there were a lot of issues about, abuse of the system. People come in here and there's no work, or there's work and the terms are totally different from what they've signed up to. So the government decided that, they were going to take action. And some of the actions that they took is what we now find. And obviously, within the care system, now, from spring, you cannot bring a dependent. Now, those who are already here, you are allowed to bring your dependents from now up until then. And they have also said that going forward, you will be able to bring your dependent. We're still waiting for a draft proposal in relation to this. But for the moment, the advice is that if you want to bring your skilled worker dependent, especially if you're in the care industry, then this is the time to bring them. Whilst we are on, you cannot bring your dependents. Again, students who are already here and are coming, those who are coming from 1st of January, there are restrictions in your the people that you can bring. For example, you can only bring dependents now, whether you came here before the law or you came here after the law. The only difference is those who are already here, right? You can bring your dependent if you are a government sponsored and your course is more than 12 months, or you are doing a postgraduate and the postgraduate is research-based and it's not taught. For those who have come or are coming from January, you can only bring your dependent if you're doing a postgraduate research, PhD, and government sponsored is not there. So that's the difference. The difference is that if you're already here before January, you can still bring your dependents if you're government sponsored and your sponsorship is for more than 6 months. You're doing a postgraduate research. So postgraduate will be the master's, PhD. You can bring your dependents. But if your course started from January, then you can only bring your dependent if you're doing PhD, postgraduate, or a research course, postgraduate. So those are the new ones in the student, but the other things that are also raised. Now, when we talk about the minimum income requirement, there are two areas that I want us to look at. There are the areas with partners, and then there are the areas with children. So if you're a family member and you're bringing your dependent, if you're a resident here, at this stage, I'm talking about people who are resident. So they either have indefinite leave to remain or limited leave to remain as parents or spouses, or they are British citizens, or they have refugee status. If you're bringing a partner, then there's an income requirement. The threshold is 18,600. And this is your gross annual income, which is the money that you've earned over 6 months period should equate to half of 18,600. The minimum time is six months in that particular work. And you should have earned that income consistently over 6 months. So what they look at is that they add up all your pay slips, the gross sum for the last 6 months, and then that will determine your gross income for the year. They said it was going to go up to 39,700, right? And then people objected to it. There was a lot of objection. People then did what we call a protest, and they went online, completed online protest forms, had over 100,000 people, because this doesn't only affect us as a community. It also affects those people who are indigenous citizens, who are British citizens, people who were born here and have lived here all their lives and have nowhere to go. And therefore, when they're bringing their families, this were live issues that will have affected them. Last week, the government came out and said, no, we're not going to do the 38,700 anymore. We're now going to do 29,000. 29,000 is still a lot of money. Not many people earn that kind of money, even nationally amongst the population. And therefore, for us, this is also a problem. It's a problem because, if you take a typical community member, what they will be doing is they will be working in the leisure industry, hotels, restaurants, being caterers, working in McDonald's, Sainsbury's, and Tesco's, and also working doing cleaning jobs. Some may be bus drivers and the like. So the income is not 29,000. The income, the average income within our community is about 18,000. So even the 18,600 is a struggle. Now, currently, if you're earning 18,600 and you want to bring your husband and your husband and your child, the first child, you need to earn an additional 3,800. The second child and the subsequent children will be 2,400. So that tops up. And then, so people were bringing their spouses first and then work. And then once they have a joint income, they then bring their children. But that also had its own problems, because if it's a stepchild and the mother has come here or the father has come here and they've stayed for a few months or a few years and they want to bring the children, it raises a legal issue of what we called sole responsibility. Because once you've left the child, if the other natural parent is still in the country where the child is, then it's more likely than not that the parent is the one looking after the child. If not, then you have to show how you are the person who has sole responsibility. So it's pretty difficult. However, the government has stated that the 29,000 is for families. So if you've got a wife or a husband and 5 children, you still have to show 29,000. Whereas in the past, if you've got a husband and 5 children, you will show 18,600, you will show 3,824, 24, 24, 24, and that will be over 30,000 thereabout. Now it's 29,000 across board. So in that case, for the children, there's only one rate which is applicable, and that's 29,000 if you're bringing a spouse. If you're not bringing a spouse and you just want to bring your child, the law treats it differently. That one, it's treated under what we called adequacy of maintenance. And the case law on that clearly says that adequacy of maintenance is your weekly income minus your housing cost, and you should be left with income support rate. So if the income support rate is £75 per person and you're bringing a child, the child rate is about 65. If they take out your housing cost, which will be your rent and your council tax from your weekly income, you should be left with at least about £150 a week for yourself and your child. So that's totally different from what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is where a spouse is involved or a partner. And also, they've changed the law. Whereas you could not have brought your common law partner, which is somebody that you've dated for 2 years or more, if you haven't lived with them. Now you can bring your common law partner, even if you haven't lived with them. So if you're in the UK and you can show that this person in another country has had a relationship with you, and I mean a sexual relationship with you for at least 2 years, then yes, you can bring this person. So the definition here of a partner has changed in the last couple of months. So what I'm talking about covers wives and husbands, unmarried partners, which includes common law partners, which includes people that you haven't lived with before, but at least you have a relationship which is similar to what married couple have. And therefore, the reason why this is a problem is that we say not many people in the community can meet the threshold. It's extremely high. So even though they've reduced it by about £10,000 from what they estimated to be what the threshold is going to be in December, although they reduced it, we're saying this will prevent over half of families from being reunited. And that's quite profound. That is profound in the sense that there is now a report within the community by the family group and associations who represented families who have been separated by immigration rules and its requirement. They have reported that children of such families suffer from truancy, mental health issues, and sometimes they end up in the criminal justice system. That is why we say it's profound, and that is why we want to treat this topic, that the law, there's no law yet. We can still go out and canvass and, speak to our representatives in Parliament and impress upon them that this particular proposal will not be good for our community, for the reason that it will separate families. And we know separated families have all these issues because there's something called the internet family. And when we first started having internet, the Home Office could refuse an application and say, well, you have an internet, there's internet in your country, you and your father can communicate over the internet. It's an issue which we still need to grapple with. The next thing that I want to talk about is in the care industry. And I'm going to spend a bit of time on this because it touches a lot of families and who have migrated to UK. Over the last 2 years, we've had in almost about 170 to 200,000. Out of that, about 30-something thousand have come from Ghana. Those people who are in the care industry will notice that as we speak, many of the care providers and some of the other skilled sponsored routes do not have what we call DCOS and COS. A DCOS is what we call Defined Certificate of Sponsorship. And COS is what we call Certificate of Sponsorship. When you see the word defined, it means the person is coming from outside. So once you've registered your care, your domiciliary care or care home, and you've got your sponsorship license, the Home Office regulates how many people you can bring into the country. And the way they regulate it is that they will give you a couple of numbers to work with. But if you want to bring more people, you will need to make an application on your SMS or your sponsorship management system and tell the Home Office that I need to bring 10 more people from Ghana or Timbuktu or Mali or Togo or Jamaica. The Home Office, before November, if it's for defined certificate of sponsorship, within 24 hours, they will give you 9 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 40. Whatever you ask for, they will give it to you. With certificate of sponsorship, it took about a week and then it went to about a couple of weeks. Now, both have been stalled. So when you put in this request, you don't get it immediately. The reason why this has happened, we all know, is because of intelligence. And the intelligence is basically that there's a lot of abuse. And the abuse is that some of these people are only using their businesses to bring people to the UK. They really are not coming to work. And we will go to the reasons why this is an issue. And if they are not coming to work, it means the position that they've created is not genuine. And if it's not genuine, it means they are misleading the Home Office. And if they are misleading the Home Office, it means they've breached one of the core duties that they have. And if they breach one of the core duties that they have, it means that they cannot hold a sponsorship license. But the Home Office cannot just say, you cannot hold a sponsorship license. They need to do a compliance and then go through the processes that they need to go through. So the reason why they've stalled it is now to do what we call a mini compliance. The mini compliance is, for want of a better word, we've got 5,000 care companies in the UK. At every point in time, some of them will come and ask for increase in DCOS or COS. So when they ask us, we will then pause it. We will go through the books. We will go through the system. We will go through the sponsorship management system. We will go through the questions that we've asked them and the responses that they've given us. And then we will conclude whether or not they are meeting the 5 core principles that I will explain later. So as you can see, this is quite profound. Now, every single week in the community, a business is shut down. A business with a sponsorship license is shut down every single week, and we hear about them. There's one that is reported in the newspaper. They took the case to the High Court. The High Court explained, and I did a program on it last week, Saturday, and it's quite profound, the things that the judge said. First of all, being given a sponsorship license is a privilege, it's not a right. And that says in both Guidance Part 1 and Guidance Part 2. And because it is a privilege, candor, integrity, reputation, truth, it's held at a premium. So if you come to them and you say you want 20 people because you've got ready-made work, and then you bring the ready-made people, and these people are calling Nana Kwesi every week. Nana Kwesi, you are the chairman of the Ghana Union. We are not getting work, we are being abused. Somehow it filters to the Home Office. What also filters to the Home Office? It's the arrangements that people make to come here. So you might see a care home, but there is an agent who's then gone to convince someone with the sponsor license and may say, can you sell me 20 of these licenses? They sell it to them. They then go and sell this on. So as you can see, the business itself hasn't done the recruitment. And you will see why this is a problem. I will come to that because I want all of us to succeed. This particular route to the UK, it's very effective, easy, and the most cheapest way to settlement. Because if you're coming here to work in the care industry, all you have to show is that you've passed your exams, which is the English at level B1 for all the 4 modules, which is speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Yes, the care, you pay your visa fee, the immigration skills charge, which is about 2,000 plus, your visa fee about 1,051, and then you issue your course about £239. When you add that give and take, let's say about 3,000, the Home Office is saying this cost, the only one that you should pay, it's about 1,051. But we also know that not all the care companies have a lot of money. So they cannot afford to be paying several thousands of pounds for people. However, whether or not the charges that some of these agents make is reasonable or not, I will leave that for your good judgment. But for us, what we're saying is that there's a reason why people don't have certificate of sponsorship. And yesterday, I got somebody called me. He's got people working on his books, 25 of them. They are all working part-time. They are working part-time because the law allows them to work part-time. It's called supplementary work. Under the skills guidance, temporary worker part 1, they can work for 20 hours in the same industry or in a shortage occupation industry. But he wants to get his own license because all 25, they haven't got sponsors anymore. They are sponsors, and these are about 10 sponsors. Their sponsors' license will be taken away. So they've started the process. They will write to you. They will say to you, Abacus Care Services Limited, please send us a copy of your rota, your calendar, contract, proof that you've got contract to work, prove that there's availability of work? Can we see your contract of employment? You're paying pension, you're paying sick leave, you're doing your reporting process. How to overcome it is this. Now, the 5 duties which you have to comply with is reporting duty, record-keeping duty, immigration rules, wider UK laws, and your conduct should not be so repugnant as to be against public policy or to rile the public. The first one is your reporting duty. So when you put in your request, they want to see that you're doing your reporting duty. They make the request, they bring...
I am guessing that lines are a bit creaky today, so please bear with us, I'm sure.
Okay, Nana, you okay? Can you all hear me? Paul, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so it's Nana who is struggling. So the reporting duty, I'll give you an example. For example, you've issued a certificate of sponsorship to someone. You've put a starting date as January 21st. They put their application in Ghana in November. Come January 21st, the application has not been approved. Under normal circumstances, you think, well, they've got his file, so there's nothing wrong with it. But you have a duty to report. You sponsor someone, he comes to the UK, you've not been able to find work for them for 28 consecutive days. You have to report. They also find that those people that you said you were employing, when you put in the request for the COS, you said you were going to pay them £12 an hour. The going rate is £10.75. Once they approve the number for you and you issue the COS, you put in the COS that you will pay them £12 an hour. But as soon as these people came to the UK, you started paying them £10.75. Now, there's nothing wrong with the money. But contractually, you've breached your contract. But 2, you've also lied to the Home Office, because the Home Office expects you to meet all the contractual obligation that you set for yourself. So if you set in the COS that you were going to pay them £12, although the going rate is £10.75, you have to continue paying them £12. And if you pay them £10.75, you must do 2 things. 1, you must show that you've explained to the employee that the contract that you signed with them, that you pay them 12 months, you're not going to hold yourself to the contract for the following reasons. And they've agreed to it and signed that you can reduce my income. But you cannot pay them less than £10.75 because that will be breaching the rules as well. You have to report this because you've changed the circumstance and the conditions on the certificate you told the Home Office you were going to issue, which you've issued. You've changed the certificate. So you have to report this. You cannot employ a relative. A relative covers a spectrum of people. Parents, brothers, siblings, half-brothers, step-siblings, husbands' children, husbands' nephews, and the directors are included. So if a director in the company, even if he's not a level 1 user or level 2 user, that person cannot employ a relative. So when you employ a relative and you give them a certificate of sponsorship, you breach the rules. Record keeping. Many of the domiciliary care will normally travel from homes to homes, for example. Now, when they come, you have to do your DBS. The DBS clearly is a requirement by the CQC. And now you have to have a CQC because as part of your JD or job description, if you are dispensing medication, which some of these people may have, then you must be registered with the CQC. So Home Office now have made it mandatory that before you get a healthcare, adult healthcare, health and care sponsor license, you must have a CQC license. Now, the process from your advertising the work or the vacancy to the process of recruitment, the process of recruiting from inside UK and the process from recruiting from outside UK must all be documented. So Abacus Healthcare, your online portal, is a Facebook, Instagram, and you've got a website. You've advertised for you want 2 care assistants or 10 care assistants. You've put a JD there. The job description is shown. You must always have proof of that. So you have to take a screenshot and save it. The Home Office allows 2 types of records to be kept: paper and electronic. Electronic is anything that you're keeping on a device, either computer, phone, notebook, or iPad. That is called electronic document. What you keep as a paper is the one that you've printed. My advice to every person who has a sponsorship license or who wants to acquire a sponsorship license is to invest in at least a laptop or a desktop. That way you can keep this record. So the advertisement has to be kept. The application forms that they filled, those who passed the interview and you recruited them, you have to keep records of the application process. The interview records, every question and answer that you ask, you must keep the record. How do you do this? You have to record it. So for example, what we're doing now is being recorded. Zoom will give you what we call an AI summary, or you have an AI companion. You can do that. It's not only Zoom, all the virtual meetings and the video conferences will now have inbuilt, or you can subscribe to an AI, which will summarize the interview for you. So you need to record that. Those people who now have construction sponsorship license, which we do for people. So almost every month we get people construction license. When you're interviewing people, you need to ask them to show your portfolio, because somebody is coming here as a plasterer or as a mason or as a tiler or as a carpenter. You have to see the evidence of work that they've done. Yes, there will be transition because the work they do in Ghana will not be similar or the same as they do in UK. So there might be a transition of about a month. But I will explain to you that you have a duty that once a person reports for work, you have to start paying them the rate you said you will pay them. I've seen that a lot of our community do not pay for training. But training is part of the working process, because if you're not paying them for 28 days, you have to report yourself to the Home Office, because then they're not working. If they're not working for 28 days, you have to report to the Home Office, and you have to explain why they're not working. And bear in mind, when you're reporting yourself, you're actually telling the Home Office that when you told them you've got work for 40 people, in fact, you didn't have work. It's also possible that you've lost your contract. And for that reason, there are people that you don't wish to sponsor them anymore. You need to keep record of that, and you need to report it on your sponsorship management system. The next thing that I've said is respect or complying with the immigration rules. So for example, you do what we call RTW. The RTW is a right to work. Now, when you do the RTW, you're complying with immigration rules, because anybody you employ here, even if you know that the person is legal and you know the person is a British citizen and you know them that they hold indefinite leave, you need to do an RTW. RTW can be done in 2 ways. A British citizen, they present their birth certificate or they present their passport. A migrant, they give you a share code. You go online, you check, it tells you how long they can work, how many years, how many hours sometimes. And you have to keep electronic copies of this. That is record keeping, and that is complying with immigration rules. The other part with complying with immigration rules is that when you applied for your sponsorship license, you undertook that you will report to the Home Office if there are any changes in your circumstances. So you started in a one office accommodation. you've become so successful and you've moved to a different accommodation, you have to report it. You also must be able to show that the migrants who are working for you report to you on a daily basis. So there's a timesheet, because most of these people, whether it's care or building industry, most of these people will be working outside the office. How do you keep tab on them? How do you know that is compliant with immigration rules, that is keeping record, and that is reporting? Do you have a system in place for your workers to log in? Do you have online documents where they have to take and log in? Do you have any monitoring system? Yes, in the care industry, they will file their timesheets. And some of these timesheets would have been signed by your client, which is the person that they went to look after. But in the building industry, you may have a foreman there. But if you're a subcontractor in the building industry and one of your staff has gone there, who is going to see him? The other thing that you also must comply with is a wider UK law. Every person who is employed must be provided with a mandatory pension. It's optional in the sense that they can choose to opt in or opt out. For them, it's optional, but for you, it's mandatory. So when you go online and just download an employment contract, and you didn't know that that employment contract you've downloaded is actually an American New York State employment contract and not UK, because you don't want to pay a specialist to do it for you. So when the Home Office, you ask for COS, and the Home Office said, bring me a template of your employment contract. Bring me a template of the proof of work that you have. And then you send your template employment contract. And already they see that there are issues. There's no pension in there. Some of the care industry actually have in their contract, and those that I've seen, I've asked them to change it, that I cannot guarantee you work and you are on 0 hours contract. If you're doing that to a resident British or somebody who's got settlement, I don't have an issue. But if you're doing that to somebody that you're sponsoring, then one, you're breaching your reporting condition because you've changed his condition of employment. When he issued this DCOS or the COS, you stated in there that he will be working or she will be working 37.5 hours. But now you said your work is not guaranteed. Of course, his work is guaranteed. Well, if you lose your contract because the NHS is not happy with certain aspect of your work, or you've just discharge your contract, so it's finished and there's no more work, you have to tell the Home Office that you don't have work. And it means that you have to let go these people that you've sponsored, and they will only have 60 days to find another sponsor. If in the contract you haven't put opt-in pension there, it is against the wider UK law. So again, you breach the law. Conduct. This usually, I don't find it in businesses who have lost their contract or have been suspended. It's a conduct which riles the public. So something so obnoxious, like big fraud, like committing serious crime. So normally when I'm talking about the five fingers, I use that as a thumb because it's very difficult to reach that threshold, and that's the thickest. But there are people who can be found to have done that, because when you breach any of these laws, it can lead to prosecution, either a civil prosecution or a criminal prosecution, because the Home Office can prosecute you for breaching the immigration laws and employing illegal migrants. You can also be prosecuted by the Home Office for what we call modern slavery. These are very thin areas that some sponsors are being prosecuted for. And usually will be those who bring in the Asians. And usually they will have an agent who has a contract with them, and the employer will be deducting money from their salary and giving it to the agent. And that, for that reason, it means they are being paid less than the minimum wage, and that can become modern slavery. So, my dear friends, brothers, and sisters, what we're dealing with is a very, very difficult and complex area of law. Not many people understand it, even for lawyers. Now, if you put in a request for COS, they ask you for your records. They check whether you've done your 5 duties, and they find that you've even missed one of them. It might be minded to, it might be mandatory, it might be optional or discretionary. It doesn't matter what it is. They can take 1 of 5 actions against you. They can suspend your license. They can downgrade you from A-rated to B-rated and give you time to do the necessary stuff. They can revoke your license and prosecute you. And I repeat, if you miss any of these areas, whilst they are investigating you, they can suspend your license. And when your license is sponsored, you cannot recruit anymore. You cannot extend anymore, but you can retain the people who are working for you who are sponsored. They can downgrade you. The downgrade is not a suspension, but you cannot ask for more costs. You cannot extend people's stay, but you can retain the people you have. If they revoke, everyone that you are sponsoring must leave you and go and find another sponsor. And they have 60 days to do that. They must leave you immediately. They don't have 60 days to leave you. They must leave you immediately. Your license is revoked. And if you continue to employ them, then it becomes a problem. So the other part which I want to share is this one, this prosecution. Now, not many people know that people are being prosecuted. There's somebody I know who had a business in Oxford who is now being prosecuted. I'm aware because she shared what is happening to me and because I've offering some advice, and she's got criminal lawyers who are defending her. And the allegation is that they've got statements from some of the people they employed, and she's being prosecuted for modern slavery because she was doing unlawful deduction, which is against the wider UK law, but also amounts to criminal prosecution because the people are working for less money. Some people were also providing accommodation, which were seriously overcrowded, no heating. They are not allowed to turn on the heating. And then when they come to work and they work for an hour, £10.75, at the end of the month, half of the money is taken by the employer. So that's modern slavery. That is why it's very critical that if somebody has a license, if somebody wants a license, if somebody wants a COS or DCOS, you must speak to a lawyer first. It's not like we had in October, in August, in September, like last year. This now is a very serious thing. Today, I got a call. 2 people arrived, a husband and a wife, coming to work in the care industry. They got to Heathrow yesterday. As I'm speaking to you, they are still in detention. They've been given 5 days. They're going to be removed because the person they're coming to or the business they're coming to work for, their license has been revoked. So for us as a community people, how do you overcome this? How do you overcome this is, first of all, if you don't have business, please don't go and ask for COS or DCOS. 2, there are people in the industry who franchise care work. I have clients who have a lot of work and they are looking for people to work with them. Some of them don't have a license because they don't want to, but others do have. And every business must have a back office if you're going to do home office work, because this is home office work. You must have a back office. The back office, what they do 2 things. They do compliance and they do business development. Compliance is the work of the lawyer, okay? So what we do as a firm is that before you get your license, we will sit down with you, we will go through your process, we will ask you questions, because we have attended many compliance audits. So we know what questions they will ask you. We know what answers you have to give. And we understand the 350-page document that you have to read to understand. Every single duty in there, we have put it into the 10-page document. So all my business clients have this 10-page document. They know what they must report. They know what they can do, what they cannot do, and they have access to me 24 hours a day. We are not the only law firm. There are many law firms, but I'm telling you that this nature, this work, the nature of this work is so complex that not many lawyers understand this. The nuance, even to provide a template contract of employment, please get a professional to do it for you. If an employee is sick and they are entitled to sick leave, get an employer, a specialist to advise you. Because without this advice, those of you who are going on the internet and downloading templates, what you're doing is that you're either getting documents which are out of date, which are non-compliant, and which does not even apply to your trade. And when I talk of back office, you need an HR system as well. The HR system allows you to cover all your employees. So when they ask you to bring a snapshot of your rota for 3 months, they want to see which of the people you're sponsoring that are on your rota. So they're not just looking at your rota. Somebody thinks, oh, they've asked for my rota. So it means they want to see whether I've got a rota. So although I don't have a rota, let me create some. I will put a Kiyamansa there, Adwa Menu, Kofi Antobam, Nana Wisu, Bernardo Wisu, and you put them there. You've forgotten that you sponsored 40 people. Out of the 40, only 20 people are working for you. The other 20, you don't know where they are. You haven't reported on your SMS. And then when you send your rota, you send sample pay slips, send sample contracts, they are not there. What you're telling them is that, one, I haven't reported that these people are not working for me. Two, these people are not working for me. And three, I lied to you when I said I had work. And therefore, every one of the 5 areas of reporting, record keeping, immigration rules, wider UK laws is being breached. It's very important that we get this clearly. I cannot explain it any more than I have. What is happening, we brought it on ourselves. Last year when people were warning, they will take this away, they will take this out. Well, they're not going to take it away. But they said they will increase compliance. And not many people even now still understand that what is going on is to audit their processes. And because there are so many of you, they cannot just come to every one of you. So the only time they get to audit you is when you write to them and say, give me more calls. And then they review everything. And then when you're not happy, they come to you, either unannounced or announced. And then it's just like a Ghanaian policeman who stopped you on the motorway. They will prove to you that your license has expired. Many of you don't know that with Ghana driver's license, almost every 3 or 4 years, you have to go for the license to be renewed. It doesn't say, it says at the back. 2, they will tell you the thread on your tire, is gone. They will tell you you don't have a fire extinguisher, you've got a taxi or Uber, you need one in your car. So when they come, or a social worker comes to your house, they will find problem with you. So if you can, get your house in order. The final thing that I want to talk is about carers and care workers bringing their dependents. Now, I can tell you why they are stopping it. Because the cases that we deal with, we also draw our own intelligence. And because, I work in the community and our law firm is a community-based law firm, we have a lot of intelligence from the community. It is because they are aware that most of the husbands and wives that we bring are not our husbands and wives. They know that. So they just want to stop it. So from spring, and spring starts from the end of March to somewhere end of April, May, you cannot bring your dependent. At the moment, they say those who are already here can continue to bring their dependent. But we are in election year. The policy has not been drawn up. It's a proposal. The way they proposed that they were going to increase the threshold for spouses, and they reduced it. The way that we woke up on the 17th of July and students can no longer switch if they hadn't completed their school is the same way that they can bring this law, they can change it suddenly if they see that suddenly there's increase in dependents coming. So if you have a dependent to bring, please bring them now. The other problem is that if you know that the person you work for, the business you work for, if they are not compliant, you will know. I don't have to tell you. You will know because one, you don't go to work. They don't have work. They don't do what they have to do. The other people you know who used to work there, they don't come, but they are all on their books. So we should tell you that soon and very soon, their license is either going to be suspended, downgraded, or revoked. So if you're there now, you want to bring your dependents, please do that now. Don't wait. The other thing that I want to talk about is the final one because I've spoken for an hour and then we'll open the floor for questions. Is this animal? Immigration health surcharge. This is the most unfair levy on migrant communities in the UK. Every person who has come to live in the UK for more than 6 months, apart from EU national and people who are working in the care and health industry, every person has to pay this tax. And it's £640 a year as I speak to you now. For children, it's about £470. For students, it's about £470. Whether you're working and paying your tax, or you're not working and not paying your tax, or you're working and not paying your tax, or you're on benefits, or this has to be paid. And they're going to increase it by 66%, from 640 to 135. So at the moment, if you're doing a typical application for 2.5 years, you pay 1,560. If you're coming here as a work permit holder, it's ×3. So it's about 2,000 thereabout. If you're in the care industry, you don't pay. If you're in the building and construction, you will have to pay. You pay this in addition to the migrant skills charge. They're two different levies. But this is a killer because almost every person who's in the UK who's extending their leave is paying NI and tax. I pay NI and I pay tax. I don't have to pay anything for national health service. We've gone to court on it. It didn't work out. Maybe now that they're increasing it, maybe it will work out. But it starts on the 6th of February. And that's why I brought it to the end. And if you don't apply and pay now, you will have to pay from the 6th of February. So when I say start from the 6th of February, the last time you can pay the 640 a year, which is 5,560 for 2.5 years, is the 5th of February. Now I want to show you how you can do this. So for those people, my cutoff time is May. So if your visa is going to expire in May and you've got 2.5 years, you can safely make your application now, although it will expire in May. And I know many of you will say, but lawyer, they said the earliest time you can apply is 28 days. Well, who said that? Well, every time my lawyer has been saying, well, I'm afraid there's no law that says that. There's no single law. absolutely no law in our immigration rules which says that if you've got 2.5 years today, tomorrow you cannot apply for another 2.5 years. There's no law which says that. So I'm using as an example. So if you're going to expire in May, you make your application now, you pay your fees, you pay your IHS. IHS means Immigration Health Searcher, because you want to do your application before the 6th of February. But I'm a lawyer, but I will be left with 4 more months of my visa. So what about this 28 days? I said, well, don't worry about the 28 days. So we are also being clever. If Sunak and his people want to be clever, we can also be clever here. And really, what I'm telling you is legal. When you look at paragraph 34 of the immigration rules, it tells you what a valid application is. And I will dwell on 3 elements. So a valid application is one that is made by the mode that is said it should be made. So usually will be online. 2, and you've completed the relevant forms. 3, and you've paid your fees. And 4, you've enrolled your biometric. So Uncle Ben said, well, if May, don't go and pay this money to them. Pay it now. You've made your payment. You have several weeks to enroll your biometric. Okay? So you can delay and enroll your biometric maybe in 3 or 4 weeks. So that will take you to the middle of February. But then you've paid your application fee, you've paid your IHS fee. But I did say a valid application is one where the fees have been paid, the IHS has been paid, and you've enrolled your biometric. So you've made the application, which means they cannot come back and say, oh, we've now increased the fee, so go and add. No, you've made your application. You delayed the enrollment. But even if you don't delay the enrollment and you go and enroll, let's say your application will expire and your biometric card will expire in May, and you go and enroll in February, there's 3 months left. Nobody can punish you. The law says that when you make your application and the leave that is left over is more than 28 hours, they should only add 28 hours to your 2.5 years. It doesn't say they should refuse you. In fact, there's nowhere in the application where they mention that your application should be made earlier than 28 days. It is in the Home Office guidance notes, but there's case law. The case law says that the Home Office guidance notes is just Home Office guidance notes. They cannot breach the law because of their guidance notes. And therefore, if the law doesn't say that you should make, the earliest time you can make your application is 28 days, then when you make it 28 days and you've still got a few months left and they are granting you your visa, they will add only 1 month of the several months left on your visa. So if they're giving you 2.5 years, they will give you 2 years, 7 months. For me, you've saved 1,117. If you're a family of 4, you've saved over 4,000. We deal with clients who are usually family of 2 or 3, and £1,000 for us in our community is a lot of money. Bear in mind that you are not only paying IHS. The Home Office fee itself is 1,053. And if you're going to add 1,560, you're going to pay 1,683. If you're going to add an extra 1,000 on yours, on your husband's, on your child's, then you're going to pay more. Those who are coming from outside are even going to pay more. And that's why I was saying that for those who are here, you can make your application quicker, earlier than, and I've given a cutoff period. If somebody wants to say mine will expire in June, I want to do it now, that's up to you. There's nothing wrong, but that is really up to you. But I'm saying for those who expire in May, you can do the May, enroll your book to enroll in February, go and enroll in March. By the time you enroll, they write to you, you're in April, you are almost in May. That is the way that I can show you to save some money. If you don't want to do that, of course, then of course, on the 6th of February, you can apply for a fee waiver. And a fee waiver before, it used to be for people who are very, very poor, who can apply, but now it's also available to those people who cannot afford it. It's even now going to play into everything. So for example, if you're looking at 2.5 years and you're going to pay 1,035 a year, it's going to be 2,570 something pounds, plus 1,053 for your application. That is 3,500 and something pounds. Now, if it's two of you, now I know that finding 3,500 is a lot of money for many people, and therefore you can apply for fee waiver either for the IHS or for the home office fee. You don't apply for fee waiver for one, you apply for fee waiver for both. But if they assess you, they can say that you can pay your fees, but you cannot pay your IHS, and therefore the government will pay for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I've spoken to an hour, 10 minutes. And for us, the question and answer also brings a lot out. And this is what I want to share with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Our very revered lawyer, Bernard Owusu from BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors is located at Seven Sisters. When you come out of the tube station served on Victoria Line, it's just across the road. You see some banners on the wall, on the road, signposting you to BWF Solicitors. See, one of the greatest assets we have is the ability that one can share their knowledge. Bernard is not charging a penny for all this hour and 10 minutes and beyond. I can't imagine how many of us have this expertise that often voluntarily do it for the good of the community. So please, what does Ghana Union need from you? You could be a nurse, you could be a doctor, you could be a social worker, you could be a housing officer working for a borough. You could have so much information that you could help us to give to our people, just like Bernard is doing. And I hope the message will go down well with our people. We will come back to question and answers after a few minute break, so you can all take a few drink, a cup of tea or water, and then we'll come back to Q&A. In a few minutes, we will resume and we will take questions. In the meantime, in between time, please raise your hand using the Zoom icon so we can call you as soon as we are back. We'll be back shortly. Thanks.
Hello? Oh, my son is Canada Dada. And then he left home, Manuel. My son, this is a setup that you was Spain. Oh, yes. I Spain was any sicker free. Ha, a Ghana. Yet we love you. It's 11 and as a man of a baby from Rano. Oh, that be my son. Would you check your phone? Why? It's very easy now to send money from anywhere in Europe to Ghana. I'm in Spain right now, and I just send money to my mom. And on Tiasia, also don't send it, don't take e-levy. No, on Tap Send, there's no e-levy charge. It's just free when you send. Those in the US, those in London, those in Canada, plenty places in Europe. You can send your money through Tap Send to Ghana. And please, it's free of charge. There's no deduction in any e-levy or any charge at all. So what are you waiting for? Send the money to those family people. Me must send it. Let's go and take a clan talk. Reggae man of a pack. It's Tap Send.
The Mayfair Estates Limited Property Roadshow is coming to London on Saturday the 27th of January 2024 at the luxurious 5-star Canary Riverside Plaza at 6 Westbury Circus, London, E14 8RS, located right in the heart of Canary Wharf. Visit us from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mayfair Estates Limited is one of the most reputable real estate developers, offering prestigious houses and apartments for sale in sought-after locations. Acquire a detached house or an apartment at our Jubilee Gardens, very close to Jubilee House, or purchase one of our luxurious apartments at Burma Hills. Why not buy a home at Mayfair Gardens or a townhouse at Mayfair Court, Adringanore? We also have very affordable houses at our Mayfair Enclave Oyibi. All of our communities are gated with first-class security. At Mayfair, you only require a small deposit before construction, and the rest can be paid at the time of completion, or we can arrange a house mortgage to suit your needs. Whatever your circumstances, we have the solution. So why not visit us at the Roadshow at Canary Riverside Plaza Hotel on Saturday, the 27th of January 2024 to find out. Please register free at mayfairestatesgh.eventbrite.co.uk.
Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced family law firm specializing in immigration and naturalization, as well as dispute resolution. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner with over 30 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients in the community. BWF Solicitors stand for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity and inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance across all areas of UK and Ghana law. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Led by experienced senior partner Bernard Owusu, the team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with your immigration, naturalization, dispute resolution, family law, new wills and probate, Ghana law and practice needs. We are dedicated to providing solutions to our clients' problems. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Main office line 0208 493 7340 or our emergency line 07712 761 884.
Hi, Paul. Nana, are you there? Okay, so this is question and answers, and if somebody wants to ask a question, you can raise your hand, or by clicking on the icon, and someone will call you. I'm going to go into the chat box, and I can see some questions here, and it says, I think. Please, my question is, my wife is an international student doing her master's program. She entered the UK 2023. Can I join her as a dependent? Yes, as I said, she came here before, so the requirement doing a postgraduate course for more than 9 months or government sponsored, she can come. If you came here from January, postgraduate course for more than 9 months and or government sponsored. If you came here from January, then it has to be a third postgraduate, a PhD, or government sponsored as well. So those are the differences. Nana, I'll hand over to you.
Lawyer, sorry, I'm in and out of this forum because of where I am. So audience, please bear with me. But I'm sure Bernard is in position to answer your questions. I just need you to raise your hands so we can call you in order. I believe that as much information has been given out today, we have a lot we can learn from Bernard and his team. And please, if there's anything that has come to your mind that bothers you, please let's ask those questions. Before others raise their hand, Bernard, I was very keen about this I'm more keen to hear about this. What's it called? Spring deadline for those dependency from care home, care workers scheme. In fact, you and I are community servants. We cut across all field. And the last time I was in Dalston Market, I met fellow Ghanaians approaching me. Bra, we are Ghanaian. Bra, me pay jumo. Bra, me pay baby atina. And it really broke my heart. The question is, if people have come through sponsorship and they are not being given work, they have no means to survive, how do they turn themselves around in that scenario? Are they the one to find a new sponsor that will give them work? Or would the previous company that brought them have to signpost them to somebody else? Because some people have literally no idea what to do in that scenario. I think that's my one question.
Yeah.
Number two, those also coming with students, a year visa, and becoming the applicant and having a dependent who is free to go about. I mean, let's talk about this here because it's in the public domain now. There's no need to make it sound like it's a secret. We have Ghanaians who have come as applicants and they've been given, dependents who are all over the place. How do they? I don't even know how to say that. How does that affect the applicant if the dependent is gone, arrived and doing his own job, earning more because he's not restricted, and the applicant, him or herself, is stuck in a limbo? I don't know whether you've had any experience dealing with any of this situation and whether you can have any guidance. It's only a guidance we're asking for.
Yeah. Well, yes, we hear all the incidents of people struggling, and they have been brought here and there's no work, and clearly struggle. So it's also in the news, it's in the newspapers, online portal. What I tell everyone is that you came here, you're supposed to comply with the immigration rules. It's a two-way affair. Your sponsor complies, you also comply. If your sponsor is not complying, you must be smart and know that pretty soon this person is going to lose their license. You need to move away. Nana, on my part, because I know what is going on, last 2 weeks, and there are people on this portal, they can text and say, yes, it's true, Uncle Ben shared it. I shared 1,003 vacancies in the NHS. 1,003 vacancies in the NHS. But you know what? Our people will not apply. Our people will not look. They will not ask. They will not search. They're not prepared to move from London to Manchester, Birmingham, Milton Keynes, outskirts where there will be work. There are nursing homes spread across Northampton, everywhere in Northampton. They don't want to go. And these are nursing homes who offer you sponsorship. NHS will offer you sponsorship at certain level, nursing assistant, care assistant. They've got so many people, the people that I know who came here with recruiters, and they've switched to the NHS. There's NHS job search. You put it in the Google, it will give you thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs. Okay? If I have my way, I'll put in the and a message for people to look. Those that I had, most of them were in January. Some were towards the end of the January. I may put it in there for them to look. But if somebody is not looking after you, you have to move on. With the students, before, when students came, some of them did not attend college or university, because education was not the idea. They were told, come here, and then when you come, we will switch you to work permit. Why they did it that way, I don't know. Because coming as a student is not cheap. It's very expensive. You have to pay your fees. So that's why on the 17th of July, they cut short students switching into work permit if you haven't completed your course or your CAS hasn't ended. They're two different things. So either completed your course, whether successfully or unsuccessfully, or your CAS has ended. If your course has ended, you can switch. If you completed your course, you can switch. So if you came with a student and you are a dependent and you've lost touch with your partner for whatever reason, they are somewhere in Scotland, you're somewhere in London, and you can't find each other, just be mindful that anything can happen. Their residence permit could be revoked because the college or university will report them, and you will only have 60 days to switch. I know that people have said that, well, if I'm not told that the Home Office have cancelled my permit, how would I know that I have to switch? Well, your student sponsor will know, because if you came with a husband and a wife, and they are the main applicant, they will know. So if they are informed and you are living together, you will have to know. And therefore, it's an arguable case that I haven't been informed, because the regulation requires that any decision by the Home Office must be notified at least to the last known email or address, or through the legal representative. So those are the live issues that we have. And quite clearly, it's a problem. It's a problem which we're grappling with. But for us in the community, what we say to people is that use the law. The law is there for you. So use the law. And if you're not getting work, move. Some people are very comfortable. They're not getting work from the main sponsor, but they're doing more hours with a different employer. Now, that's dangerous. Because when you look at section S18.6 of the part 1 of the guidance notes, it says that supplementary work can only be done if you're working with your main employer. So the main employer is a sponsor. So if you came here with Abacus Care Home and you're doing 40 hours there a week, you can do 20 hours with another company in the care industry or in the shortage occupation. It doesn't have to be only care. So he says that either the same occupation or one in the shortage occupation. So you can switch to any of those. The problem is that if the main sponsor or your sponsor, there cannot only be one sponsor at a time, is not employing you, you cannot even do the supplementary work. It's illegal. And if you're caught, they will cancel your biometric card and your visa. The next question that I can see is Michael Nkrumah. It says, does the 3,400 skilled worker fee apply to those who are taking lecturing job in the UK? Well, the skilled migrant route, apart from
it's a nightmare,
applies to everyone. So unless your specific industry fee, it will apply to you. This person says, short note to thank you for your brilliant session. Thank you very much. You are to be congratulated, sir. And this is from PK Richardson. And somebody says, Nat, I applied to visit the UK in 2014. During the application, my mother's date of birth was correctly entered. In 2015, I applied for entry clearance as a spouse of a British. I accidentally typed the incorrect date of birth of my mother. The age increased by 2 months by mistake. I will be doing naturalization. I have statutory declaration from Ghana. Can I use it to correct? Don't worry, it's not a major problem. You can put a correct date of birth. You don't have to add any statutory declaration. And then this is Rosalind Usu, my young lady. God bless you for all you do in the community, Daddy. My question is, can someone who is on the healthcare route without a sponsor, as at the time of applying, bring a dependent, or the new rules will affect them? Well, if your sponsor is not giving you work, clearly obviously you're not being sponsored. But if you want to bring your dependent, of course, you can bring your dependent if you're still being sponsored. Yes, you can bring your dependent. And then I am I have a 2.5 visa with my wife and 2 children. First child nearly 18 and has been in the UK for more than 10 years. And the other almost years born in the UK. We are on a 10-year route and our visa is due to end in October. When is the best time to apply for renewal? And are there any better options than the 10-year route? Well, because you're both on limited leave, you cannot switch, because if you're switching, the spouse or the other parent must have indefinite leave and you don't have. So the 10 years is the best route you can be. But please don't worry. You've got 2 or 3 other people as part of your application. I can bet that you will qualify for fee waiver. Okay. And the next one is Emmanuel. Oh, okay. Shipnia Shombanche. My master program, which started last year, 23rd, comes to an end today, the 19th. Awaiting my transcript certificate to be given to me. Can I switch to skilled worker visa? Yes. You've completed your course, or your CAS expired. Both you can apply. You can apply to switch. Please, subject access request from Home Office is a free or charge. There's a small fee, but those that we've done so far, we haven't paid any fee. But the Data Protection Act and the Freedom of Information really allows them to charge a small administrative fee. But those that we've done, we haven't paid anything. If an applicant arrives in the UK and the sponsor is not giving work, where would they go to look for another sponsor? For many, this is the first time they're arriving in the UK. I've told you that for all those people, go to Indeed, go to NHS. So go to NHS job search. Listen, even if you are there, even if you have no knowledge of searches on the internet, just put in NHS search, just simple as that. And you will have thousands of them, thousands. I'm not talking of 1 or 2, I mean thousands. The last one I did, just for an area, I got 1,300 job hits. If I'm not able to file for my kids before I start my skill job in the UK, how do I get them to join you? When you get your settlement, you can get them to join you. I think I'm at the end of the questions. Nana, I'll pass it back to you.
No, thank you. My apologies to audience, and of course, my colleague Bernard. Thank you for stepping in. This is from Anaji in the Western Region, Takoradi precisely, and my internet is frustrating. You can see how my handkerchief is getting wet by the minute. So forgive me that I'm in and out. But I guess most people would have asked their question. No news is a good news. So I believe that we have half an hour, and I hope the audience will not let this half an hour go so that we end it. But in the meantime, may I introduce to you a few people who have joined us today, who are likely to be our next speakers in the next forum from GCB Ghana. GCB Ghana. We have Daniel Boateng here. If we can, highlight him on screen. Daniel Boateng and Farouk Imoro from GCB, who will be here. Hopefully, in 2 weeks or 4 weeks' time, we will look at the topic areas and then, of course, bring them to come and educate us on what products and services GCB provide for Ghanaians, either in Ghana and the diaspora, because a lot of us have issues when we get to Ghana. I have to tell you, though, that when you get to Ghana here, everything now is Ghana card. I think a time will come where even taking a taxi, you will need a Ghana card. So if you get yourself to Ghana, please, I'm not campaigning here, I'm not a politician, but I would like you to have an easy ride when you get to Ghana dealing with some of these agencies, because today I've been everywhere, and everywhere I go, Ghana card. So please, if you get a chance to be in Ghana, please grab one. GCB would definitely ask for Ghana card. That's why I'm saying it, because he knows. Daniel and Farouk, we hope to link up with you so we can bring you back to talking to our team. If you have something quickly in a minute that you want to share about GCB, please do. But I want us to go back to the legal so that people don't forget the questions they have in mind.
Yes, thank you very much, Nana. It's a pleasure to be here this evening, and we are very, very grateful for that. we were expecting that we would have some 10 minutes to be able to highlight what GCB has to offer and why Ghana is now prime for investment and for banking services. I don't know if you permit me, I would want to show just one slide about GCB, where we are coming from, and then where we are seeking to go. So if you permit me, I'll just share that. You can let me know if you can see my slide.
I can see your slide, if just one for now, so that it doesn't take the joy from the next session.
At all. So this is just to help you to see that GCB is coming from far, 1953. And today we are seeking to dominate the market. But what has really solidified our dominance in the market today? This slide talks about it. The branch network, the number of ATMs we have, the number of people we are employing, our services covering primary market dealership, secondary market dealership, and the partners that we deal with. A lot of these really solidifying our position as a dominant bank in Ghana. This is one of the products we are going to speak to you about when we come to London next 2 weeks, about our link to home account services, the target audience, the currencies, the products, the benefits, and the process that you have to go through to be able to enjoy such a service. Aside that, we also have investment products, and this is the slide that talks to that. When we come to London, we are really going to go deep into some of these things and see how you can benefit from this. So that's just a quick way to say we have something in store for the community in London and Ireland. Thank you very much, Nana.
Thank you, Daniel, and I look forward to meet with you when you do arrive so that we can have this forum and other engagement with other groups who may want to see you face-to-face in their own meetings. That is what we do as a community, to give the information to our grassroots members to understand and obviously make decisions for themselves as they see fit. So it's a pleasure meeting you, and I'm grateful
to see all of you in London.
Thank you. See you hopefully end of this month. Thank you. Now, if we can have our own lawyer back to the screen. There is also going to be property investment forum or summit sometime this next weekend, please. As you would have seen in the advert, property is also an area of interest. Most people come here, you rely on family members, friends, and by the time you get here, your loan of 50,000 has turned to nothing. So if you want to go and learn about how you can avoid it, you can look into properties. I'm sure Bernard has a huge idea as well. He's a man who doesn't only focus on legal matters. He's also interested in areas that some of you may not know of. He can help you get through some of the very reliable, competent property providers in Ghana. Okay, so lawyer, it's been a very quiet one. So the last message you read, I've just read that. I remember hearing on this very platform that arrangements were being made for a Ghana card to be issued to those of us, I believe, in diaspora. What has happened to that arrangement? As you rightly know, we brought the Chief Executive of National Identity Authority, and he said that. However, I am not into politics, so I will not know why and why budgetary requirement. I don't know what the logistics are. My only hope is that we can interrogate your question and get back to you in detail. All I know is that as it stands now, there isn't any country in the diaspora, not only UK alone. If you are only asking this question from UK, nowhere else that Ghana card is being issued. And when they do, we will make you aware. In the meantime, I will throw that question, as you have just put it, to our honorable executive at the NIA. I believe that's the only question. Lawyer, our members have been so they understand what you said. And I think today we've served about 70 to 80 members, which means times 2 or 3. They're going to tell brothers and sisters, they're going to tell families. So the wide reach is huge. The people on Facebook who cannot ask questions directly, but hopefully we can answer their questions when they put it to us online. If you have any summary information you want to give us, I think it would be great. So that I leave you to a good evening as you look forward to a weekend. It's been a long week. My gratitude to you. Anytime you accept to come here, it's heartwarming because at least we're dealing with an expert, somebody who knows what he's talking about. So thank you. If you have any closing remarks, we can take that. Otherwise, there's any hand I will answer.
Thank you very much, Nana, and thank you all for staying with us. I did promise that I will put the NHS careers, NHS job search, and it's there. It's I think it's the last but 2 message. It was sent by Ghana Union, and it's www.healthcareers.nhs.uk. And when you click on that, it will ask you several questions, and it will zoom in specifically to where the area you live and where you want to work. So that's there. There's another question. We are hearing now that it's not possible to travel with a stepchild. How true is it? I don't understand this. Clearly, you can travel with anyone if you've got the authority to do so.
And check that, there's one person hand up before you bring your closing remarks. If we may call you.
Chris, okay.
Chris, please. Chris Obeng, are you still with us? Unmute yourself, please, and let's go to your question.
Maybe he may have pressed it by mistake. So,
but the hand is still up, and he's unmuted himself, so I'm not sure. Anyway, maybe he's changed his mind.
Okay, so that's all right.
Lawyer, please go ahead.
Yeah, my closing remarks is basically that, there's several things that have already happened, which are going to happen. This forum is to alert you, give you knowledge so that you make informed decisions. We've also explained how to get around some of these things. Once they happen or they are about to happen, we may come back and give you more insight on how to deal with it. But as I've said, we should not allow this to overtake us. We should deal with it quickly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think, lawyer, I mean, like you said, you will definitely come back, and I know you are a man of your word. So I'm looking at regular, even if it's a matter of how to go about your process of applying to your right to stay. A lot of people are still confused. People are still being threatened that, hey, if you apply to Home Office and you ring them, they'll bring your application from top to in the filing cabinet. So people are frightened to even pick the phone and call Home Office and ask a simple question: what is the status of my application? So I think it doesn't have to be you if you are not around, but we may have a schedule where some people will come in from time to time and educate people about the processes. And wherever they need expertise, maybe, they may come to the office and see you. But on that note, I would have to say we are grateful for your time, your expertise, your candor, your wisdom in getting this message to us in the manner that reached to us as we understand it. Hopefully, our people will be generous in their thanks to you for sharing your knowledge, which you have paid so heavily to gain over the years. We are taking it for free, and I believe that it will go a long way to help, especially those new entrants coming to UK, and all they know is that we are going to a greener pastures, but the pastures are drying up, and that is why the belts are being tightened every day. We wish you all a very good weekend. Thank you all very much for joining us, audience, and a very happy new year again. Have a restful weekend, everyone, and thank you. Good night.
Hello? Oh, my son is Canada Dada. And then he left home, menu. My son, this is a setup that he was paying. Oh, yes. I Spain was any secret free ha Ghana. Yet we love you. It's 11 and as a member of a baby family. Oh, that be my son, would you check your phone? Why? It's very easy now to send money from anywhere in Europe to Ghana. I'm in Spain right now, and I just send money to my mom. And on Tiasia, Also, oh, don't send it, don't take e-levy. No, on TapTapSend, there's no e-levy charge. It's just free when you send. Those in the US, those in London, those in Canada, plenty places in Europe. You can send your money through TapTapSend to Ghana. And please, it's free of charge. There's no deduction in any e-levy or any charge at all. So what are you waiting for? Send the money to those family people. Me must send it. Let's go and take a clan talk. Reggae man of a pack. It's TapTapSend.
Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced family law firm specializing in immigration and naturalization, as well as dispute resolution. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner with over 30 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stand for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity and inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance across all areas of UK and Ghana law. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Led by experienced senior partner Bernard Owusu, the team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with your immigration, naturalization, dispute resolution, family law, new wills and probate, Ghana law and practice needs. We are dedicated to providing solutions to our clients' problems. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Main office line 0208 493 7340 or our emergency line 07712 761 884.
The Mayfair Estates Limited Property Roadshow is coming to London on Saturday the 27th of January 2024 at the luxurious 5-star Canary Riverside Plaza at 6 West Ferry Circus, London, E14 8RS, located right in the heart of Canary Wharf. Visit us from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mayfair Estates Limited is one of the most reputable real estate developers, offering prestigious houses and apartments for sale in sought-after locations. Acquire a detached house or an apartment at our Jubilee Gardens, very close to Jubilee House, or purchase one of our luxurious apartments at Burma Hills. Why not buy a home at Mayfair Gardens or a townhouse at Mayfair Court, Adringanore? We also have very affordable houses at our Mayfair Enclave, Oyibi. All of our communities are gated with first-class security. At Mayfair, you only require a small deposit before construction, and the rest can be paid at the time of completion, or we can arrange a house mortgage to suit your needs. Whatever your circumstances, we have the solution. So why not visit us at the Roadshow at Canary Riverside Plaza Hotel on Saturday the 27th of January 2024 to find out. Please register free at mayfairestatesgh.eventbrite.co.uk.